let's jaunt into an idea here where we can explore a little bit more writing advice. Let me just run you through something when it comes to the stream of consciousness. So when talking about accessing that weird state when it comes to writing, that stream of consciousness, it's super simple. You just got to kind of reach into self, okay? Let me show you an example. I'll write one out here, and then you can kind of see, I'll read it to you, and you can see what I'm talking about, okay? So where do we go from here? Below 8 and right down. Alright, so let's take a gander at what we have here. Can you see that I wrote? I didn't make it up, I actually wrote. I'll make you zoom a little bit like a brother. Like a brother. Listen, the experience of divine thought, of divine inspiration, what was that to me? How could that have found my soul? Whether it was here or there, in some form or another, it placed itself into my very being. One that was always lingering, one that was always at the present and willing to be had. Could it only have been a dream? Could it have been an illusion? One that was cast by my very own heart? One that was full and awaiting such a transcending response that perhaps I made the inspiration, and that inspiration was always lingering within? One that was surfaced when I starved my ego enough? What drowns my thoughts? What eats at my essence and makes me transform into a new being? Only time will tell, I suppose. Though pondering at previous thoughts is like taking a trip into the past, where the darkness lies in wait. It will await my doubt that is always in the past, and will awaken a new beast to stir into my mind. Perhaps that is what the elders would always teach, not to allow oneself to walk into the past, to stay vigilant and alert. Maybe the key is this rhythmic living. Okay. Now it's okay to make mistakes when you're doing shit like that. Not a big deal. You miss a type of fucking word. That's the thing that you have to break yourself from. It's like, oh, hold on, let me fix that. Oh, you know, like, oh, it's bothering me. Like, stop it. You're fucking yourself up here. Like, proper grammar is cute. You know what I mean? Like, it's a cute concept. But what's most important is the idea and the thought. Like, that's the whole fucking point of writing. And you're not writing to like have a proper grammar and be like, oh wow, look how beautifully that sentences are amazing, and wow, he uses commas so well. It's like, that's snob shit. Like, don't focus on that. Focus on the essence. Focus on like the substance. We'll use that word. That's the best word we can use. Commas, periods, proper spelling, proper usage of words only matters when the source is truly, you know, something to read. Because it's hard to find someone that can see through those things. Like for me, I always found that someone gives me work and it's full of grammatical errors, I don't give a shit about that. That's an editor's job. You fix that shit. What matters is what's being said. Read past it. And in that, take it to your stream of consciousness writing. Just, you know how many misspellings are on here? I hit the wrong letters, or maybe the sentences weren't structured properly. Oh, there's no commas in this though. Like, how do you know when to take the break in the sentence, you know? I didn't do that because it's not for those fucking people. I always forget how to spell rhythm in the moment when it comes. Like, I don't remember how to spell rhythm, so who gives a shit? Just spell it the best way that you know how, that you can read it. And essentially what you're doing is you're hearing your mind. Like, your mind is this place that you can access, and it's like we kind of forget that it's not necessarily yours. It is, but it's shared by many other beings that dwell inside of you. That's the whole point of this, how do you say it, this stream of consciousness writing, because we're finding the source of you. You ever realize that when you think back in your past and you go like, man, is that the same person? some of the things I did, it's almost like that was a whole nother person, right? Or you're in a relationship and you become that relationship, and things change dynamics, and even the way you act and think kind of changes to that relationship, and when you leave it, all of a sudden you don't remember who you are and all this. We aren't just this one stable being that just is like, I was born, I have this, I live, and I die, and along the way I learn. Like, it's much more complex than that. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to access this weird inner monologue, this mind of yours, and to use some of this shit so you can pull from it whatever you're doing. I don't know, like whatever you're writing, I suppose, is the best way I could say it. And I'll put a link on this on my Patreon now. But sorry, sometimes I find that stuff funny. That's the best way to find whatever you're working through or whatever you're trying to access. And in my mind, it's like, well, if you're writing something, you're trying to go somewhere. So like for me, it's this world behind me. Now, in doing that, I can't just sit and be like, anyway, so what's the world? I have to dive into it. I have to kind of like, okay, center myself. We're about to time travel. We're about to transcend into the other worlds, and we're going to go exploring. You can't just sit here and do nothing. You have to find a way to transcend. And in a sense, what this does, not only does it attach you to the mind, but it's a sort of meditation, because you're super focused on it and only this, and you're in that moment, and you'll start to feel the flow of it. You're just meditating. You're calming yourself from the outside influence, and then now all of a sudden we can get out and we can we can go into the world or whatever you're working on. You know, it's in any goddamn thing, I swear. Even music and shit. Like I was trying to do music the other day, and I kept thinking outside of me. I kept getting in my head like, oh, how do I remember what chords to play next thing? And then I kept fucking it up, and I was like, no, you can't do that. You got to be in the moment. You got to trust in self. And I don't think. The minute you start thinking is the minute you fuck up. Man, oh man. Because I'm thinking. That's why. Because I'm thinking. And the same way is for writing, but you have to think. You just can't, I don't know, like think away. Like you're sitting here thinking about your character. You can't go like, should I have a drink right now? Like, no, because that'll lead you out of it. And then you'll fall away. So you're always trying to find source in a sense. And this can be religious if you do it enough, or if you work on it enough, or you dive deep enough. You'll start realizing like, this is super religious. This is a religious experience. And you can become close to God in this too. It's just, yeah. It doesn't always come, you know what I mean? And I can make a lot of jokes there, but I won't, even though I want to. So, that's that. So, just a little bit of writing advice that I found that kind of helps open up the consciousness.